welcome to the Vogue Business, the Department for International Trade's Masterclass series on how to succeed abroad. I'm Katie Chitrakorn and I am the Retail and Marketing Editor at Vogue Business. Throughout the 5 episodes of this series, I'm joined by brands from fashion and luxury to discuss the basics of succeeding in a new geographical market. And for this week's episode, I'm joined by Trevor Hardy, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of the British clothing and lifestyle brand Orlebar Brown. Hi, Trevor.
Hi, Katie. Good to be with you.
It's great to speak with you. To get started, I'd like to understand how Orlebar Brown approaches international expansion. And you mentioned how in the last year, Orlebar Brown opened stores in LA, Paris, Portugal, Ibiza, some in the UAE, Sydney, as well as launching e-commerce in South Korea, China, and Japan. How do you decide which regions to prioritize?
It was quite a busy year for us, given that people weren't going into physical shops. But we have a few different ways of looking at it. There's a fairly standard approach where we look at in-depth customer data, both ours and third-party data, fairly standard, look at where our customers are, who our customers are, and where we can model new customers that look like them in different regions. And I'm sure many companies do that. But we have a particular benefit because our product and our brand is all about holidays and holiday wear and things that people enjoy on holiday. And so we look at how people get to holiday, how people travel there. We opened at Heathrow a few weeks ago, for example. We open in a lot of hotel destinations, both in concession as well as standalone retail. And then we try to open shops in some of the most beautiful places in the world where our customers love to go on holiday and where they love to travel to. So in effect, we go to where our customers are. Or where our customers want to be, perhaps.
Yes. And it's been kind of previously documented that Orlebar Brown hasn't expanded via directly operated stores, but through franchising. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the thinking behind the strategy. Why did the company choose to work that way? And are you still operating that way?
Yeah, we don't operate that way as much today. I think in the early days, we're almost 15 years old. And in the early days, I think the approach was to take the shortest path to operational excellence. And we came to terms quite quickly that we knew our market quite well, or at least we knew London quite well. And as soon as we moved outside of London, whether it's different cities in the UK or different countries, we realized we didn't know those markets as well. And the best path was to work with people who knew their customer, knew the regions, knew the rules, and could help us get up to speed as quickly as possible. And in sometimes we took on those franchise relationships for direct retail ourselves, but we continue to work with some franchise partners. But one of the things we realized over the last few years is that the world was becoming a lot smaller, and that people were more and more similar, countries and cultures were becoming more similar, or at least people were becoming much more transient. And so as our customers became more borderless, the differences between retail operations and countries became less different. So we've, in the last few years, at least have approached it in much more of a direct way, still working with a few partners, especially in markets that are very different operationally than Europe is. But today our approach is much more to focus on controlling the experience for customers, controlling the brand, and the best people to do that are the people of Orlebar Brown.
That makes sense. And speaking of that, what does your retail distribution look like today? I'm curious to hear how much of your sales comes from direct retail, versus online and wholesale.
We're today about 60 to 70% direct across various channels, both physical and online retail, and we're growing quite significantly, and our plans for growth are not ludicrous but ambitious. So, but within that, I think our trust and dependency and partnership with a lot of wholesale and third-party partners is strong. And one of the things we've realized is, as much as we would love to have direct relationships with customers, many customers trust the department stores they shop in, the online retailers they shop with, and have great relationships with them. And we value the relationships that they have with those people, and the trust and the engagement that's afforded to them. And we see that relationship between us and wholesale is going to continue to be that same proportion, around 30 to 40% of our sales will come from our trusted partners who have the trust of their customers.
It's interesting to hear you talk about how Orlebar Brown is expanding its physical retail footprint at a time when more people are shopping online. Everyone's talking about the benefits of e-commerce. Why are you doing that, and what are the costs involved?
Well, it's been we've invested in a lot of new stores in the last couple of years, and will continue to do so. And it's not without some anxiety that we do that, especially as we see, like most brands have seen, significant growth in digital channels and maybe declining sales in physical ones. But to us, our physical retail is still strong and still important. There's maybe a passive view that the store itself on the high street, on a main street, is a good form of advertising. But for us, it's as a luxury brand, it's more important because we are spending a tremendous amount of energy and time and care creating products of the highest quality, whether that's fabrics that feel beautiful. We've got these terry polo shirts that feel just velvety to the touch. And if you go to an online store, you won't feel that. And you won't feel the quality of the other products we made, the craftsmanship, the detail. One of the things that we struggle with, like most do, is photographing fashion in a way that you can see it online in the same quality that you can see it in the physical store. And then beyond just the product quality, it's the experience of shopping, the interaction with people in the store, the interaction with other customers, the atmosphere that's created that might bring a story to life. Like many lifestyle brands, we don't necessarily market to seasons, but we create stories, a number of different stories every year. And we try to create a little bit of theater, a little bit of experience, a little bit of emotion around those stories to try to bring not only the clothing to life, but the underlying story and meaning and inspiration behind our collections. So as we grow, our physical presence, both in retail and in many other forms, is going to be crucial to give customers that real depth and emotional engagement in what we're trying to sell.
But then what are the costs involved with, going into physical retail? Is this something that all brands are able to do, or is it because of the scale, the size that Orlebar Brown is that you're able to do that?
There's a little bit of, for us, the investment in our own physical retail has been a significant expense. But the beauty of, in some ways, a lot of vacancies on high streets and main streets and in retail centers is that real estate isn't as expensive as it used to be. But physical retail, like brand building, is a long game. The returns won't be in year 1 or year 2 or year 3, but it's a long-term investment in building a story, building a brand, and building a customer base. And eventually, with the right effort and the right tactics, physical retail does pay back significantly.
Sure. And so when Orlebar Brown expands into a new geographical region, what are some of your key kind of marketing expenses? I'm curious to know, what are some important advertising channels for you?
I think we used to have in the early days when we would expand either into new cities or new countries, there was an investment in advertising, an investment in PR, especially, and obviously an investment in physical stores. But today, the big investment is really the story. So as I said, we're 15 years old, and it's easy for us to forget that some people don't know us. It's not out of arrogance. It's just that we're kind of bored with the original founder's story. Adam Brown founded the company 15 years ago on one product, a tailored swim short. And that approach was unique in the market. Having a saddle row approach to swimwear was very different. And we told that story quite often in the early years and feel that we don't need to tell it to customers who know us very well. But a more tailored approach to swimwear and resort wear and holiday wear is the founding story, and the crucial one that we have to start every market with. So one of the things that we do, instead of thinking about what channels are we going to go into first, is how do we best tell the story? How do we best convey the unique features of OB and the products that we sell to new customers? So today we focus on that founding story, the core difference of OB. We do that principally through some advertising. Digital has obviously well outpaced our investment in any kind of print advertising or above the line advertising significantly, partly because of performance, but also because it's become a lot more visual and a lot more experiential medium than it may have been a few years ago. And we invest obviously in a lot of PR, but the biggest investment over the last few years, or biggest growth in investment, has been things that allow the customer to see and touch and feel the brand. And that's counterintuitive in a more digital age, but physical retail, in-store experience, customer events, especially for luxury brands, are crucial. The physical experience, the emotional experience of a brand, and how to tell that story in a much more tactile way is where we're spending a lot of time and a lot of investment to make sure that our experience is memorable and engaging and something that a customer passes on to friends of theirs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like what you said about the, the emotional experience. And, when you enter, again, a new geographical market, how do you approach hiring local talent?
Well, we're like many luxury brands, we're lucky that we don't sell cogs and widgets and other things, but we have a product that most people should be passionate about, not necessarily swim shorts or polo shirts or tees or things like that, but stuff that you take on holiday with you, stuff that makes your holidays better. So we generally find great people, talented people, but who have a passion for travel, a passion for holidays, and not just the physical act of holidaying, but the mental health benefits that one gets from travel. Sustainability is a core element of what we do, not only the sustainable products we have, but a more sustainable approach to travel, to be conscious about our impact on the places we visit. So we look for people who have genuine interest in those topics, so that when customers come into a store or customers get on a telephone or on a chat online, then they're able to convey that symmetry of interest in holidays and travel and all the benefits of it. So it's less for us to focus on retail skills or customer service skills or operational skills, but more about a passion for the product. And then we have an extensive training program, both online and physical, for our store staff all the way down to our head office staff to help them understand the brand story and be able to tell that in a really compelling way.
Sure. So what has been the biggest learning for you since Orlebar Brown expanded globally? What advice would you give to other British businesses looking to expand outside of the UK?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest one is probably to invest in the story, invest in the brand. We obviously there's operational and supply chain and logistical considerations that probably are paramount in the first order of business. But one of the things that we've realized over the years is that when we go country to country, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, the differences are becoming less and less. It used to be that we would go to a new country, there'd be new people, new customers, new demographics, new cultures, and a new operating environment. And today, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but some of us have more in common with people who live across the world than we do with people who live just down the street. And we find that's true of our customers as well. So we take that borderless, demographic-free approach to expansion, where we go to expand is not to try to go into a new market, but to become part of the cultural conversation. And how can we best understand customers? How can we best understand culture and make what we have, the story we have to tell, more relevant to those people? And obviously there's the benefit of having something unique about the product or about the brand, and finding a way to make that story interesting for customers that we're finding in different parts of the world.
Well, those were some really great insights. Trevor, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Katie.
Join us for our next episode, where we'll continue to explore how to succeed abroad. There will also be a full report that you can register to download.